Welcome to the Primo's Musings podcast.
Good morning. This is Shri here with the Week 4 preview of the NFL season. Before we get into the games for Week 4, let's quickly talk about what happened in the Thursday night game between the Cowboys and Giants. And just looking at it from that standpoint, it was a very close game. Division games generally tend to be very close. And when I looked at the highlights, I didn't get to watch the game, watch bits and pieces of the game. Dak Prescott looked okay. I mean, he has a very good completion rate, uh, and 2 touchdowns, but more importantly, no turnovers. And then I got CD Lamb involved for almost 100 yards, and also getting other players involved as well. Um, but the biggest story for the Giants is that while Daniel Jones did throw for 281 yards, he did have 1 interception. There was absolutely no running game for the Giants. Malik Neighbors continues to impress, but let's see if this trend will continue, as we know that typically in these scenarios, teams will adjust, defense will catch up to the players, and if they will double team him and see if he'll have the same amount of production like he had in the first 3 games. But right now, he's the standout player of the NFL. He's really lifted the Giants. A lot of hope in New York right now for him. But the Cowboys going forward will be without Micah Parsons, who suffered a high ankle sprain. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to adapt on defense going on for the next 4 to 5 weeks. So that's where we are with the Thursday night. But the big games today, I'll focus on a couple of uh, division games. You got the Saints going on to the Falcons, and the Saints were coming red hot for the first 2 games. The Eagles came back and stifled their offense. Only managed to score 12 points. But one of the things that the Saints do really well in the NFC, in that division, is that they win games on the road. That's been traditionally happening for many years now. And I don't see that trend changing at all. The Saints with Derek Carr and Kamara on the offensive side of things, and Olave. And then the defense, Dennis Allen coaches a very good team. The Falcons had every opportunity to beat the Chiefs last week, but didn't came up a little tad short. I'm not a big fan of their defense. They got Judon, ex-Patriot, but I don't see the Falcons stopping. The fact that both of them play in the dome, I feel the Saints are going to go on the road. It's really like a 1.5, I think, spread or something like that. But I think they're going to easily go not only covered, but straight up beat the Falcons on the road. The other big game for, let me focus on the other division games. You got the Vikings and the Packers. Um, it seems like Jordan Love is expected to be active finally after the Week 1 injury he suffered against the Eagles in Brazil. The Vikings are coming. They are red hot. They have everything going in their favor. 3-0 right now. Good defense, good offense. Sam Darnold, resurgence of Sam Darnold, and going on to play the Packers. But every time you see these kind of, it's a Lambeau Field too. So I would definitely give the edge to the Packers. Um, the Packers always have a way of beating the Vikings. I think that with Jordan Love coming back, I don't know what he will be from an injury standpoint. They still have Malik Willis as a backup quarterback. And the Vikings have come up with 2 huge wins against, I would say, San Francisco and Houston Texans. And this will be a big test for both of them as well. One of the things is that Sam Darnold, from a Viking standpoint, has been one of the best passers under pressure. So let's see if the um, Green Bay defense can uh, kind of try to unsettle him. The Vikings have two great offensive tackles and a great center as well. And the other thing on the other side of that is the Vikings are only allowing their very solid defense, only allowing 3.6 yards per attempt against the run. And but again, they've it's Brian Flores, ex Patriot, and then on ex Miami Dolphin coach. They have faced only the Giants and 49ers and the Texans, so I think it's going to be interesting that the Packers are the number one rushing offense. So Josh Jacobs is healthy, but which means that there'll be a lot of runs today. So that's where we are with that. I predict the Vikings going on the road and beating the Packers. Only reason because of the fact that Jordan Love is coming from an injury, and I feel that despite uh, Josh Jacobs running the ball, I feel the Vikings have more weapons to beat the Packers on the road. Then you got the other big Chiefs and Chargers, and this today we'll start with like three division games and three other important games. So to keep it short and sweet. Chiefs and Chargers. The Chargers have a lot of questions going in. They lost last week. I feel that I still feel that the Chiefs will come up victory. I mean, when you look at the way the Chiefs have won, they won close games. They won a very close game against Baltimore. They should have lost the Cincinnati game with the 4th and 16 call with the defensive penalty. And then the Falcons had everything going for them, and they could have easily beaten them as well. But the Chiefs always will look in the mirror. Mahomes, when you look at this season, he's got 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and Justin Herbert is questionable. So until I hear anything, I don't see the Chiefs losing this matchup. It's a 425 matchup um, against the Chargers. I think the Chargers will lose to the Chiefs this game as well. And then let's quickly go to some of the most important matchups that we have um, in the NFL. You do have the Bills and playing against the Ravens. This is a huge game for the Ravens. The Ravens set their season back with an important victory last week. The Bills are coming are 3-0. They're going on the road against the Ravens. Um, I feel that the Ravens, as good as they've been, as good as they were last year, I feel that this is going to be a very testy moment for them. They are. It's a Sunday night football game as well. It's the only game in town. Buffalo is on away. They are a 4.5 favorite. You have Josh Allen playing as good as can be, and Baltimore actually they went on a big run against Dallas, but they let Cowboys come back. So I would really they blew a 28-6 lead, almost losing with the 9 minutes to go. I feel that the Bills will go on they're in the desperation mode right now for Ravens. I mean, they could not fall to 1-3, especially in that division with the Steelers winning 3-0. Buffalo has been red hot, like we talked about. Buffalo is the best team in the AFC East and the best team in the AFC, along with the Chiefs. I would feel that the Buffalo Bills are going to go on the road and beat the Baltimore Ravens. And they will cover, they may not cover it. 4.5 is too much. I think they'll probably win by a field goal. The other big matchup is the Seahawks and Lions. One of the things that I didn't hear was the Seahawks have, or the Lions have never beaten the Seahawks since 2012. So that's going to be a very interesting stat. But this is a Monday night football game. Again, the only game in town. Geno Smith has been playing really well. Um, and the Seahawks, when you look at it, they've played uh, three teams which are probably the worst offensive teams. So it's going to be very interesting how they're going to face against the um, Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, again, they had a big win there as well. Um, and they're going through a lot of injuries right now. I think Sam Laporta was going to be questionable, but seems like he's going to be ready to go, according to Dan Campbell. They're going back to Ford Field. Um, I feel that the Seahawks, with their new coach, seems to be trending to the early coach of the year, but they are they're playing they played good defense, but again, the question is how legit is that record, because it's not come against tough opponents. Seahawks defense, I mean, like I said, it's played well, but Detroit has played some very close games. They played three one-score games to this point, and this will be another test for the Seahawks as well. I feel that this is a home game. The Lions will come back and finally break the jinx, and they will win the matchup. I think they will hold Geno Smith. Geno Smith has been playing well, but they will hold Geno Smith to less than 250 yards, and the Detroit offense will play much better than what they've been doing so far, and that'll be critical to see. So that's where we are. The rest of them, I think, we'll hold off for another time. Um, but I did want to cover a couple more matchups, uh, because this is very, very critical for these teams. I would call Bengals Panthers. The Panthers got a big win, but the Bengals cannot afford to go 1-3. They always are known for slow starts. And the other one is the Jaguars and Texans. The Jaguars cannot afford to go 0-4. I mean, Doug Peterson job will be in a hot seat if that happens, for sure. And let's see if the Steelers can go to 4-0. The one other interesting matchup was the rematch of the last year's NFC playoff, Eagles and Buccaneers. The Buccaneers laid an egg against the Denver Broncos at home. They're hosting the Eagles, but the Eagles are a way better team. They beat the Saints, only gave 12 points. I feel that the Eagles defense will stifle the Buccaneers, and they will come up with a big victory there as well. So with that, we wrap up the week 4 of the NFL, and looking forward to these Sunday games and as well as a Monday night game. Thanks again for listening and appreciate the support.
Thank you for listening. Primo will be back soon.